What good is anything if you have to earn it?
If you're hearing our voices, it means it's time for It's This Meets Out, the podcast where we watch the worst movies from trailer to end credits so you don't have to, but maybe you should. I am Ross.
I'm Jared. Caught me off guard there.
Yeah, I thought I'd mix it up a little bit.
Rush.
Oh my God. Where are we here?
We're talking about Persuasion.
Persuasion. Yeah.
The whole movie this time, not just the trailer.
That's right. This is the full chat. Which
we kind of saw the whole thing in the trailer.
The trailer just kind of hits all the key points. So right.
But listeners, in case you didn't listen to Trailer Trash and you forgot what the movie's about, let me remind you of what we're doing.
Let me remind you what it is we do here.
So 8 years after Anne Elliot was persuaded not to marry a dashing man of humble origins, they meet again. Will she seize her second chance at true love?
Boring.
So boring.
Love is so boring.
Yeah. Listeners, do you hate it when we do movies that are not made for us?
Or do you love torturing us? Or do you love hearing us torture ourselves? Because that's what this is.
Neither of us would ever have watched this movie if it weren't for the podcast.
No. Any blog line with dashing man and meet again and 8 years later, boring.
Yeah, no, thank you. Unless he's Indiana Jones.
Oh my goodness. Yes, that's it. That's the movie. Boy, God. Expectations. Do we remember prognostications? No. Yeah,
I remember wishful thinking a lot about like something exciting happening.
Yeah. Were zombies involved? Maybe? Were we trying to make this? Oh yeah, I did the 3 Ps. I think I did the Pride.
I think you're right.
Pride, Prejudice, Persuasion,
Pazombies. Yeah, Pazzones.
Pazzones. Those are Italian zombies.
That's right. Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
Do you like your zombie stuff with cheese? Because we'll do that too.
Yeah, stuff me, Daddy.
Okay, that's unnecessary.
All right, well.
We got there way quicker than I was hoping. Yeah, I think I had the 3 Ps. I don't know, or something like that, right? It was probably, something. Persuasion.
You're totally right. Zombies were in there for sure.
Yeah.
Because of the Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, you know what it was? Because we were thinking Captain Wentworth was gonna get killed, and he was gonna come back as a zombie. That's right.
Right, and like be a pet or something in a house. And yes, okay. It's all coming back. That would have been better.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, way more interesting.
All right. So quick info. Who did this? Who did this to us? Well, Netflix, but who helped orchestrate this? Who executed on this madness? So this is directed by Carrie Cracknell. Cool name. Carrie, theater director. Theater director. Okay. When we do our English accents, we have to do all like she directed the theater. Where they drink tea. So she's a theater director, and this was like her debut feature film. So 2022.
I mean, the directing wasn't the problem. I don't think.
Well, yeah, no, it wasn't. It was fine. I mean, yeah whatever. It's just people talking, so that's not hard. You can do that.
I think the script is the problem.
The script is the problem. The execution is the problem. And as always, straying so far from the source material, as we say, don't do that.
Yep.
Don't do that.
Stick to what works, you know?
Yep. If you need to cut some, it's a hit for a reason. So, yeah. Then she went right back to the theater apparently in 2025. So
smart.
Yeah, that worked out for her. Real God.
Okay.
Who wrote this thing? So obviously based on the story by Jane Austen.
Yeah.
Persuasion, her last novel, which I have a fast fact about all that, but
oh, good. Yeah. Dead as hell by the time this came out. Thankfully.
Yeah. Rolling over in a grave yet again.
And they put zombies in it.
How dare they? I could never. So who wrote this thing? So we got good old Ron Bass. I'm Ron Bass. And I'm here to sell you a pillow. Ron Bass he's been in the industry forever.
Yeah. What has he done?
Oh boy, the list is long. Rain Man, do you remember that one? Black Widow.
Do I ever?
87, 88 we're talking about. Let's hit some other ones here. The Enemy Within, I know you love that one.
Sure.
Dangerous Minds, 95. My Best Friend's Wedding. How Stella Got Her Groove Back. Whew.
Wow. Okay. He's done some hits.
Yeah, Passion of Mind, Mozart and the Whale, Amelia, like crushing it. Let's go. Holy shakies. And then this.
Pretty cool. And then this.
Yeah, that's Ron Bass, 1942. He was born 1942. He's still good for him. He's like
old as hell.
In
his 80s. Yeah,
in his 80s. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
All right. And then we got Alice Victoria Winslow. Alice Victoria Winslow.
Yeah, what'd she do?
Nothing. She's new. She's actress with 9 things. She's been in a bunch of short films actress, but then written TV miniseries, 1 episode. She did a short, and then this is her first feature film here. So
interesting. Okay.
Self-declared big Jane Austen fan. As which,
whoops.
You know, as someone who's a self-proclaimed kid of the 80s, you know, that's okay.
Right, of course.
Yeah. Who was that asshole who said that? Who did that? What was that?
I don't remember.
It was a kid. It was a guy who did the slasher movie, the Mickey Mouse one.
Remember yeah. I was like, are you just old? Or he's like, no, he was born in the 80s. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
That's all. Okay. So yeah, she probably was brought in to give it a little bit of a fresh look. She was the one who probably came in and was like, you know what we need to do here, guys? Make this into Fleabag. So
yeah, it could be either that, or she was the one who's like, guys, you have strayed so far from the source material. Like, at least do a little Jane Austen here.
Yeah, hopefully that's what she did. And maybe Ron Bass is the one like, Fleabag. And he's probably even seen it. He's like, I don't know what Fleabag is. What is that? Bag full of fleas? So
talking about rats? Yeah, y'all talking about rats again?
I'll talk about rats. Rain Man? What? He shops at Kmart. Gets his boxers there. Where's Jane get her boxers from?
Yeah. Are they counting stuff in this movie, or what are we doing here?
Boy, Ron Bass. Okay. All right. So who's in this? So we got Dakota Johnson. She is the star of Anne Elliott.
Friend of the pod, Dakota Johnson?
Not yet, I don't think. Was she in something else we did? I don't even know.
I thought so. Who knows? We've done too many movies.
Yeah. Daughter of Don Johnson and Melanie Griffith.
Oh.
Yeah, nepotism at its best. And she was in Madam Web, which we may do as part of our ITMT Disastrous 6, right?
Right. Yeah. The 50 Shades series was the one that she was famous for, right? Okay. That was like her first big break.
That was the one that launched her into space.
Got it.
Cosmo Jarvis, cool name. Plays Captain Wentworth, the love interest.
Terrible actor.
Yeah, he's like a cardboard Sylvester Stallone in this with a British accent. Imagine Sylvester Stallone as a piece of cardboard with a British accent. That's.
I was about to do a Stallone.
Yeah. I mean, you can do it if you want. Go for it.
Stella.
Can you do the British accent?
No.
Cannot. So Cosmo Jarvis, he is actually in this show called Shogun, which I've heard is actually really good.
Oh, that's supposed to be good, yeah.
Yeah, so that's all he's got.
Okay. So wait, when did this movie come out?
This movie, Persuasion?
2022. Okay.
Yeah, 2022. So
I was like, because Shogun came out pretty recently. So I was like, was this his first thing, or was Shogun his first thing?
He's got something else, I think, in his credit there. But the Shogun was like the one I've heard is good. He's in this movie called Warfare, which just came out kind of on the radar. It was Alex Garland, who did Civil War, Ex Machina. He's great. All sci-fi kind of awesome hits there.
Oh, man. His whole name is pretty cool. Harrison Cosmo Krikorian Jarvis.
Whoa. Pick one. He did.
He did.
He picked Jarvis.
He picked the cool ones.
Yeah, he did.
So smart.
So smart.
He's born in New Jersey. Interesting. Sorry.
But he moved
to sidetracked.
Yeah, he was born in New Jersey, but moved to England with his parents when he was young. That's how he's got the accent.
UK via New Jersey. A tale as old as time.
Well, as we say up here in New England, New Jersey is basically the UK of New England.
We're always saying that.
Always saying that. Don't really like it, but it's a necessary evil. So I don't know what that means. All right, so Mia McKenna Bruce plays Mary, the youngest sister, right?
Okay, yeah, she was kind of funny.
Yeah, she was. Yolanda Kettle plays Elizabeth, the eldest sister, Elizabeth Elliot.
She was sometimes funny.
Yeah. Henry Golding plays Mr. Elliot.
He was not funny.
No, not funny. Henry Golding, he's got a hit from, he's known from Crazy Rich Asians. That's where he's huge from.
Yeah, familiar. Okay.
Yeah.
That movie is all right.
It's all kind of, yeah. So they're all related, but whatever. We'll look past the family.
They're all cousin fuckers.
We'll look past. Yeah, they're all cousins. But we'll look past how the tree all. We don't worry about the family tree here.
Yeah.
We got Richard E. Grant plays Daddy Walter, Daddy Elliot.
Okay, yeah, he was kind of funny.
Yeah, Richard E. Grant. He plays. He's great. He's been in everything since the '80s. Probably mostly known from. I'm gonna say Hudson Hawk, but you wouldn't know him from that. Nope. Rise of Skywalker. He plays General Pride.
Okay, yeah. I mean, he was in this movie for
Logan.
5 minutes.
And Logan. He was in Logan, so.
Okay.
Yeah, he played the scientist doctor who created X there and all that.
Okay.
I didn't really call it anyone else. I know there's other people that are not really all that important, but we got Chloe Ray, dinner guest. That's it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Not our hero of the movie, Louisa.
Yeah, I guess I kind of forgot. Yeah, she's probably somewhat important, right?
The only one who saved the movie, really.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Man, she's not even listed on the top of the top cast here. How are they ordering this? Yeah, debt collectors listed here. Who's doing this? Who's running this IMDb?
Oh boy.
Yeah, it must be based on. No, that's not true.
Nia Toll is her name.
Okay. Yeah, Nia Toll. Yeah, Louisa Musgrove.
Huh. Okay.
A lot of Musgroves, a lot of Elliots. They're all related in some shape or form, either as siblings, brothers, or cousins. So,
yep.
And I guess Captain Benwick is kind of important. Yeah. It's like Smittix, right?
He was in the movie even less than Daddy, really. Like he was in it for maybe 2 minutes of dialogue, but vast majority of the movie is Dakota Johnson. Just so much Dakota Johnson. And she's fine.
Yeah, she's fine. You'd think you could find like a British actress though to do the right.
You would think.
Keep it closer to home. Yeah.
A lot of British actors looking for work.
All of which you can wink at the. Why not just get Phoebe Waller to like come right?
Right.
Just have Fleabag herself come in here and help you write it and act in it.
Yeah, couldn't tell. Are there? Okay, yeah. Basically, everyone else is English, huh?
Yep. Yeah, pretty much.
What the hell? Yeah, why is Dakota Johnson in this?
I don't know. I don't know. Hot off the Madam Web, I guess, maybe.
Oh, yeah. So hot off of that success.
Numbers there are none because it's a Netflix distributed film. So I got nothing. I couldn't find anything.
Great. Even better.
The only numbers I do have, though, Rotten Tomatoes, 30% audience, 72% fan.
So 30% critics, you mean?
Sorry, what did I say? Yeah, 30% critics, 72% audience. That's what I meant. Oops.
What's the audience doing?
Which is, so reading all the people who, reading a lot of articles about it, why it failed, it's usually because the hardcore fans, I don't think, liked it.
Okay, so the casuals like this?
But I think it's like one of those movies, if you never read the source material, don't know anything about Persuasion and Jane Austen and her writing styles, if you just came in and saw this movie, like, oh, okay, and you had your bottle of red wine with you. Yeah, from Britain, and you're maybe on that Bridgerton kind of kick, I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Is Bridgerton on Netflix? Is that a Netflix one?
Are British people on Netflix? Yeah.
Bridgerton.
Oh, you mean Bridgerton? No, I don't.
Okay. I don't know either. I was gonna say, this movie would probably be one of those things where, like, if you watch Bridgerton, and you got to the end, it was like, you may also like, and then
it is Netflix.
Yeah, that makes sense. So probably people who have this like classic British fetish, a little British fetish, probably like watch that, and then it's like, oh, I'm done with this. I want more though, and they're like, ooh,
say that 5 times.
British fetish.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, I could see that. Not for us. That's another one where it's like,
yeah, not
we're
for
not
us.
Gonna watch Bridgerton.
No, I don't. I listen to old British people talk like this. I can't. It's like I can't understand them. You know.
Downton Abbey, no, thank you.
No, thank you. Downtown Abbey, no.
Yeah.
Bridgerton, pronounce all.
That's right. That's right. We got away from, the monarchy for a reason.
Well, for a little while.
Yeah, it's coming back. It's coming back, baby.
As Jared cries in his Hawaiian shirt, which no one ever does.
That's right. You can't cry in a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah. Is that a safety tip or is that just common sense? You can't cry.
That's just common sense. Yeah. The tears aren't flowing.
All right. You want some fast facts?
Yeah, fact me, Daddy.
I will. I think we kind of talked about this in the trailer trash, but Persuasion is the last novel completed by the English author Jane Austen. It was published on December 20th, 1817, along with Northanger Abbey.
What?
That's another book.
Northanger?
Northanger.
I don't know.
It's like a Bridgerton thing, right? Yeah. I'm sure it's like some British way you say it, right?
Yeah, British people, get at us.
Yeah, get at us. How do you say that? It's Northanger Abbey. 6 months after her death, although the title page is dated 1818. That's a long time ago, man. Oof.
Yeah, dude.
I didn't even know they had written words back then. That's crazy.
Oh, boy. Ever heard of the Bible?
I didn't even know people knew how to write back then.
The good book?
The book of directives? Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Okay, so this is going to... I have my voice there. Ooh. So this is going to kind of... This fast fact, I think, will kind of... It's not really fast fact. I don't know, whatever. I'm just going to read it. Anne's rabbit was invented to give her a millennial vibe.
What?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah. Well, I'll get there. Austen novels like Persuasion have many inspiring heroines, but not many of them have beloved pets like Anne's rabbit. In truth, the only actual pet to be fully described in any Jane Austen story is Lady Bertram's little pug, but the 2005 version of Pride and Prejudice gave Caroline Bingley a lapdog, so there's some precedent. None of this makes any sense to me. I feel like I'm speaking another language.
Yeah.
According to the Atlantic director Cracknell, Carrie there thought the rabbit was a useful device that gave Anne a millennial vibe and represented her feeling stuck as a spectator of her own life in the 20s and 30s, in her 20s and 30s, unsure of committing to her own choices.
What does that have to do with the rabbit? Carrie Cracknell, cool name. What are you doing?
Yeah, cool name, bad logic. But I think that's the problem with this movie though, is like giving it a millennial vibe. Like they try to modernize something that, if you're gonna modernize it, I think you got to go full modern. But we can do that. We can ameliorate, but
yeah, if you're gonna modernize it, go Romeo and Juliet, one of my favorite movies,
or the Clueless route, which I didn't realize was an Emma, which was like an Emma kind of modernization, right? So
yeah. Huh? I mean, as two millennials here, one of us used to have a pet rabbit, so.
Oh, it wasn't me. Yeah. See, yeah. I was like, oh shit, did I have a pet rabbit?
No, I briefly had a pet rabbit.
Clearly,
that was
dead.
like when I was a little kid. Yeah. Yeah, he's dead as hell now, unfortunately. R.I.P. Benjamin. Benjamin Bunny.
Benjamin Bunny.
That's right.
He didn't age, but he aged backwards.
No, he froze like a popsicle.
You left him outside?
No, all right. No, see, so he was an outside rabbit. No, he was an outside rabbit. He lived outside.
He was an outside rabbit, so it was too cold?
No, it was fine because most of the time he was outside, and like if you leave him outside most of the time, he's going to develop a winter coat. Like rabbits live outside, obviously, right?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah,
right.
And so like you bring him in a few times, and but you make sure that he has enough time outside to develop his winter coat.
Okay.
And so we had him for I don't know, maybe like 8 years.
It's gonna be such a sad story.
Yeah, it is. Rabbits only live till like 10 or 12 anyway. We had him for like 8 years.
Okay.
And then we had a family reunion, and one of my little cousins came over. And at that point, like we were going off to high school, and we were like, I'm kind of tired of the rabbit. Like,
let's just leave him outside.
She loved playing with him. She was like, oh my God, this is the best rabbit of all time. And so we were talking to her parents, like, and we were like, hey, does your little girl want a pet rabbit? Because we kind of don't anymore.
Yeah, it's got like a 2 to 3 year shelf life left. There you go.
Exactly. All right, it's like the perfect amount. We're like, why don't you adopt Benjamin from us?
Let's teach her about death in about 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. And so they did. They took, and she loved him so much that she brought him in a little too much. And then he died that winter. Because he froze to death.
You didn't give her like care instructions, like, "Hey,
we said don't bring him in too much."
Yeah.
And she brought him in too much. She loved him too much.
Her love was too powerful.
That's right.
And that's the problem with love. Sometimes you can't. If you love something too much, you might kill it.
Yeah, his tiny body could not handle it.
The lesson learned is if you love something too much, you might kill it.
That's right. That's right. Listeners, was that a fun story?
Is that a fun life lesson to learn? Don't love something too much.
That's right.
Or you're going to kill the rabbit.
Never love anything too much. Unless it's this podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. Love us until you
buy
kill
a shirt.
Us, please. Please.
Yeah.
Buy a shirt. We'll put that on a shirt for you if you want.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's that. This was more of like I don't know what this was. So 3330 that's a
good start.
It's a timestamp.
Oh, okay. Familiar with those.
Mary, Anne's youngest sister, tells Anne about her plunking sad sack tunes because she's playing the piano. Yeah, she's playing the piano there, and she's playing some of these bad songs, whatever. To which Anne responds, "For Elise happens to be a great dance song." This is a reference to the BBC 2008 adaptation Persuasion starring Sally Hawkins. At the dinner party, Anne is seen playing For Elise whilst.
Yeah.
It was the whilst Wentworth that caught me.
Yeah.
Spies on her in the background.
Oh, that's stupid.
Yep. I was stretching for fast facts here. So
yeah. I appreciate that.
This is a fun one, though. The look and words Mr. Elliot has with Captain Wentworth during their first encounter on the top of the cliffs would have been considered quite an insult for the time period.
Oh.
Common courtesy would have dictated an immediate apology, followed by a written one. Otherwise, such an exchange would have sparked a duel.
Ooh.
Now, that would have been more fun.
Yeah, why didn't they have a duel? Oh,
duel right on the cliffs of Mordor.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Huh? That's the best fast fact of the day for sure.
That's it. That's all I got. So,
I love that. Thank you. Great job.
Yeah. Do you want to Hollywood pitch me?
Yeah. I do. So this movie clearly.
This is gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, I think so. Is The Remains of the Day meets The Happening. Have you seen The Remains of the Day?
I don't think I have.
90s joint there. Very well reviewed. You got Tony Hopkins. You got Emma Thompson. You got Christopher Reeve. R.I.P.
Ooh, R.I.P.
Like, Hugh Grant, dude. Like all-star cast. Good movie if you like boring movies, which is where I'm going with this.
Okay. All right.
So, also a film adaptation of a book.
Yep. 1980 novel by Nobel Prize winning British author.
Yep, that's right.
Interesting. Kazuo Ishiguro.
Yep. And believe it or not, it's basically like the same kind of movie where it's just like rich British people. I mean, it's more about the butler.
The old rich British.
Than the rich people.
Yeah.
But like the rich people are big characters, obviously. And they just like hang around a country home and like do nothing. It's the worst. Like like I said, all-star cast, love the cast. Terrible movie. Unless you like boring shit. And then like, hey, this is for you. So it's like in the 30s, at least 1930s instead of 1800s, which makes it slightly better. And then there's a bunch of like politics of the time. There's like,
of course.
Like you get Nazi sympathizers in Britain, or like that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
It's that kind of movie. But it's also got some like weird takes on like like race relations and people like of lower classes and upper classes, like in how they interact together, like this movie. It's like, imagine any British movie where it's like, it's taking place at some estate. Of course, it's going to have the same themes and be the same movie, right?
Right.
And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to even say about that one. It's basically the same movie.
Yeah, just boring and British.
Yeah, like deeply uneventful.
Yeah,
is what I'll call it. Many tepid conversations.
It's such a bore, really.
Yeah.
It's a bore. Yeah.
Exactly. Now meets The Happening.
Which
another deeply boring movie.
Deeply
in my
boring
opinion.
movie. Yes, I agree with that one.
I know some people who like that movie for some reason that I don't understand.
What are they on? Were they on ketamine or something?
I must have been. Yeah. Oh, you just didn't see it. Oh, okay. Yeah. That explains why you liked it.
It's a great Tuesday night watching The Happening while on ketamine. Got it.
Yeah. You know who's a really good person to portray an educator / scientist?
Marky Mark.
Yeah.
Use his real name, Marky Mark, please.
Of course. Sorry.
His God-given name.
And so, again, nothing happens, and the only things that do happen,
which is funny,
happen for no reason.
Which is funny for a movie called The Happening. Nothing really happens.
Nope. People die in unintentionally hilarious ways.
Yep.
Like I wish this movie had more dying, but there's a hilarious accident. Just like flinging yourself off a building for no reason, which also happens in The Happening. And in this one, that's right. Let's see here. And then the core of the plot of this is basically like, oh, I loved that guy, and then he went away and came back again. And like it's as dumb as it sounds. The plot of The Happening, big spoilers, it's like the trees are mad at us. And like that's not a plot either.
No, that's
neither of these things are plots.
Yeah. That's a tough one to portray.
Yeah. So nobody's and like any kind of like romance in that movie is also just like doesn't make any sense. Like in this one, where they're like both at the same time like so painfully slow and boring, but also completely off the rails. Then you're like, why? Why is any of this happening?
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I got.
Okay. All right. I buy all that. All right, I'm kind of going a little bit out there.
Great.
I'm going It's Just Friends meets The Last Jedi.
Okay. Yeah, no explanation required.
Yeah, I think so. Just Friends captures the love interest, longing love thing, right? I don't know, have you seen Just Friends with Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a classic. I enjoy that movie.
It's fun.
It's funny. It's got a small place in my heart. But that's same thing where you have this initial love interest thing that kind of falls apart, and then you got a long time span between the two characters.
Yep.
And then they re-meet, and then they actually fall in love at the end.
Yep.
Same thing. Right? Classic. It's the classic fall in love, lost each other, fall back in love story that we've seen a million times. That,
of course.
I think Jane Austen started. Thank you very much. There's a moment in this movie where she literally says, "We're worse than exes. We're just friends."
True.
So
they said it.
Multiple times it comes up. No, you're just friends. So Mr. Elliott loves to rub that into Wentworth's face, by the way. Like, I mean, I know you're just excellent friends.
Yeah. I know how much she values your friendship.
Shut up.
Yeah, the worst.
Yeah. Aren't you her cousin?
That's right.
It's like, aren't you too?
Yeah. Cousin fucking totally fine back then.
Yeah, totally fine. Yeah. Meets The Last Jedi. Now, Last Jedi. So Last Jedi, I think like the hardcore fans, right? Going with that aspect here, the hardcore fans didn't like it. Kind of similar to this movie. The hardcore fans of source material didn't really like this movie because it completely missed the landing on the tone and the feeling of Star Wars and of Jane Austen here.
Yep.
Kind of a lot of plot stuff that doesn't really matter.
Yep.
or it's like dismissed, or like kind of, I don't know, you could say it's called subverted, or it could just be, what else we got here? Some plot things that happen that don't really make much sense to have, just to shoehorn stuff in. Like this movie is definitely missing some plot points from the source material that make it are confusing in the movie because they cut stuff out. There's an entire character they cut out from the book for the movie, which kind of would have explained some other things a little bit deeper. Like they explained them in the movie with like one-off lines.
Yeah.
Last Jedi
Very
had
quick.
Added plots that were just like, why are we doing this? Why are we in a gambling place casino right now? What is this? Get this out of here. Cut this.
I forgot about that part.
Boring. Movies that could have been shorter. We don't need these to be that long.
Yes.
This could have been shorter.
Yeah. Persuasion could have been an hour or 15. Easy.
Yeah. Easily.
Not even a full length, really.
Yeah. And let's see what else. I think that's it. I mean, there could be a stretch of, you got two strong female protagonists, leads here. Last Jedi, you had Rey, and then this Anne here, right?
Yeah,
both
survive on their own, right?
Yeah, both seeking advice and help from somebody. It feels like this movie, you could say Anne was like almost with the fourth wall breaking, was looking for us to console her in a way.
Yep, that's true.
So
basically dead parents.
basically dead parents, right? Yeah.
Daddy's kind of irrelevant and mommy is dead. So
yeah, so that's that. Money's always involved, right? Last Jedi was really getting into the war machine of the war, right? The rebellion.
4 portions. My favorite character in any Star Wars movie.
That's pretty good.
Not in Last Jedi, really, but
yeah, and that's it. I think that's where my pitch ends. So
I love that.
If someone came to me and was like, all right, I'm going to make a movie. It's Just Friends meets The Last Jedi. I'd be like, what is this going to be?
Yeah.
And it comes out as Persuasion.
Yeah. Would you believe it's based on Jane Austen? Loosely.
So you want to hear ITM Tron's pitch here?
Yeah. Give me the robots.
Let's see. I don't know. He might lose his time here, but we'll see. He's yeah. Anyway, he said ITM Tron said it's Easy A meets Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Come on, dude. Be a little more creative.
Okay. Easy. I'm not really seeing the Easy A that much.
I've never seen that one. It's a teen rom-com with Emma Stone.
It's like a Scarlet Letter retelling.
Yes.
Like you read that, right?
I think we all had to. Snarky fourth wall breaking heroine navigating social judgment from Easy A.
Okay. Sure.
In a knowingly absurd revisionist take on a classic period world, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, without the zombies, just the satire.
Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense then.
So that's what he came up with.
Huh. Okay. Well, bad job, ITM Tron.
Yeah. Again, he doesn't get it, but
you tried.
We're just going to continue to show how inferior he is to our superior human brains.
That's right.
That's the whole point of that segment. So
the robots aren't there yet.
Not there yet.
Soon.
Yeah, we're like a couple weeks away.
Yeah. Speaking of the robots, Jared's summarizing. Jared sums it up. I forget every time.
Yeah.
We should really write that in the notes.
I like the idea of you like trying to remember it every. Next time I'm not going to help you. It's going to be all on you. So.
Well, then I'll forget.
We'll call it the ever-changing segment with Jared.
That's right. And now I'm going to just tell you what the movie is. So we can skip lots of it.
Yeah.
8 years after Anne Elliott's persuaded to break off her engagement to the poor but promising Captain Wentworth.
He's so poor.
He's so poor.
Boring.
Their paths cross again when he returns as a wealthy and successful naval officer. As Anne navigates renewed feelings and social entanglements, including the attentions of a scheming William Elliot and a flirtation between Wentworth and another woman, she quietly yearns for a second chance.
Quietly.
After a near-tragic, hilarious accident and emotional misunderstandings, Wentworth overhears Anne defending enduring love and leaves her a heartfelt letter rekindling their romance, which is as stupid as it sounds.
Yep.
Anne and Wentworth reunite, confess their feelings, and prepare to begin a new life together at sea because all of a sudden she's in the Navy.
She's in the Navy.
Inexplicably.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. So,
which, listeners, if that doesn't sound like you can stretch it into almost 2 hours, you're right.
It should have been a short film.
Yeah, a little
YouTube
thin.
short.
Yeah. What a movie.
Okay, what a movie. All right. Well, I guess what are some of the key moments we have for this movie? What are the highlights? There's only 3.
There's like 2, yeah.
The beginning, I wouldn't call it a highlight, but you kind of got to talk about it.
Yeah, I guess we'll start there then. Right?
Accident. And then the end. And then the end when the credits roll.
And the accident is like in the movie is not like it's 2 minutes, but it's the best part of the whole movie.
Yeah. So the opening of the movie, I think, is from what I gather, is similar to how the book opens.
Okay.
It's a future showing of them.
It's the end. It's the classic. Show us the end at the beginning, and
how did we get here? Yeah, which I'm okay with that if it's done right.
Yeah. And it's also kind of leading us to believe that like maybe they're not going to get married this time because it's
Hmm.
the first line from which is also in the trailer. I almost got married once.
Right. Right.
And then
Right. Right. And it's all the stuff from the trailer. Just opening.
Yep.
Sailor without rank or fortune. So I was persuaded to give him up. And then
Yep.
we get the title card, Persuasion, based on a novel by Jane Austen.
Yeah, like again, we're not Jane Austen stands.
No, I have never read any of her books, all six of them, so I
Yeah,
don't.
we're not the core audience here, but like this one sounds a little thin as a premise. Like Persuasion, like, oh, someone just talked her out of marrying this dude that she loved. That's literally the whole point.
Yeah, that's it.
That's not a plot. like,
And
I
also
don't
doesn't,
care.
also doesn't sound like she was persuaded. It sounds like she was just like
Right.
told, like, no, you need to marry someone who's got some money and some rank here. Like,
Right.
don't
Like,
marry some poor ship guy.
like I guess the persuasion was that. The persuasion was like, hey, don't marry a poor guy.
Yeah,
Oh,
and you're
good point. Good point.
you know
All
what?
right,
You've persuaded me.
Yeah. Movie.
Movie. And then,
Yeah.
yeah, then it's mostly just the setup of she's single and loving it. I quote unquote, I throw in air quotes there because she's not really shitty. She's getting drunk
Yeah.
all the time, crying with a rabbit, pet rabbit that's probably going to die in the winter.
Yep.
And we're just introduced to all the fourth wall breaking stuff she's going to do. It's extremely Fleabag, modernized version they're trying to do here, which I think was also a big. People didn't like it because they were probably expecting the way it's set up. They're expecting to be like this traditional old British like telling, but it's actually modernization, which kind of screws up like the language is all the phrases and the things they're saying don't fit the time, but
But it's not even that modern. Like that's the thing that I'm
not.
confused about. Like if we're saying this is a modernized retelling, like where does the modern part?
I think in the devices for how they're telling it, using the fourth wall breaking stuff, dialogue
Gotcha.
and stuff like that, not necessarily like what's on
the content.
Yeah, so that's probably
Got
why
it.
people are like, this sucks. So
Okay. But then basically the intro is like, who needs romance when you've got family? And then we hear all about how shitty her family is. We get that whole
narcissistic dad,
giant exposition. Yeah.
And there's so much exposition. And it's like just her talking at us, the audience, and just delivering all this. She tells us just everything about the family.
Yep. You can only escape family by marriage or death, and neither of those seems like it's coming anytime soon.
No. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Like the whole opening is just her telling us. I mean, this whole movie is just walk and talks, pretty much.
Yes.
Which
is why it's going to be quick.
Yes, because you're either walking in the woods or walking in the cliffs and talking, or walking in a house and talking, walking out in the park, talking, having tea, talking. Yeah, it's just,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. And then we get more like display of it's like slightly less exposition and a little bit more showing us, but basically Daddy here is in debt to his eyeballs, and we're gonna start like repossessing the house.
It's got to
like
be done.
all this cool stuff. Yeah, sometimes it happens, Sometimes
Pay your taxes or else, right?
little too. That's right. That's right.
We've always said
R.I.P.
that.
Wesley Snipes. Yeah. And they're like trying to figure out ways that they can save money. They're like, maybe we can stop giving to charity. They're like, that's
No.
a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
And they're like, why don't we downsize? And they're like, okay, sure. Let's downsize and we'll rent this house out to a Navy man, which everyone's pissed about. I will not have a Navy man in my house.
Will not have a Navy man in here. Yes.
For some reason that I don't understand.
Yeah, it wasn't really explained. Just like,
Yeah. And that's when you get the gem from Daddy of like, what good is a title if you have to earn it? What good is anything if you have to earn it?
Yeah.
God has a set hierarchy, and this is we're living God's will. Oh, okay.
And then it's stuff from the trailer, but then we're introduced to Lady Russell, who I think in the book is actually a distant family member. In this, she is more of an advisor. Was an advisor to her mom, her
mom's best friend.
Yeah, mom's best friend. But in the book, I think she was actually related, but kind of distant and changed. Not a big deal though.
Gotcha.
And then it's mostly just her being like she was part of the advisory group there, who also convinced her to not get married to. So Lady Russell feels a lot of guilt for that.
Yep. Clearly, she's apologizing.
Yep. I'm sorry about that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
My bad.
My bad. Sorry.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to.
She does kind of justify it about talking about how at this era marriage is so transactional for women and like,
Yes.
like you're on your own. You got to have a little bit of security here.
Yeah.
And then basically like, by the way, Captain Wentworth is a captain now and rich. So like maybe get back on that.
Maybe get back on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. It's so frustrating, but yeah.
Wildly frustrating.
So then she's in her bedroom and she's going through it. Then it's just all fourth wall sadness, monologues, more fourth wall monologues. There's a lot of them in a row of just her basically explaining her feelings and being sad and going through stuff that the letters he'd sent her. The hair of his horse. I don't know what that's about, but sure.
Very arbitrarily made these into scenes because it's hard to tell. Like it all just kind of runs into the same.
Yeah.
Like there's like 2 or 3 scenes that happen in the same setting. It's just like one person leaves the room. And you're like, oh, now it's kind of different.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's doing a lot of that. And she's like, but like we said, Captain Wentworth's cool now, and by cool I mean rich.
He's cool. He's really cool.
And I've been keeping all these news clippings about him from the papers, but I've seen no marriage announcement, so hope springs eternal. You're like, what? That's really the whole plot here? Yes. Yes.
Well, it's also I'm like thinking like all this dialogue, and I was just looking up like how long the book was, and I think it's about 250 pages or 200 and some odd pages,
which is short for Jane Austen.
Yeah, because isn't Pride and Prejudice like isn't that a hefty?
It's a long one. Yeah, it's a pretty hefty one.
Oh, what else? Like nothing happens from this point, right? It's just.
I think we skip a bunch because like at this point,
we could do the old. There's a horse and carriage. There's more internal dialogue and about Wentworth and him being interested.
A little funny. There's like daddy's got a lady that's trying to get his money, and she's
who's important. That's Mrs. Clay. That's a friend of Elizabeth, the older sister, right?
Yeah, exactly. And she's like going on and on about how they should be happy about moving to the small town. If you're a 5 in London, you're a 10 in Bath. So like you and Daddy and Elizabeth are obviously going to be 13s, and you'll be at least a 6. You're like, oh,
come on, man, that's rough. So then we move on to the next location, Upper Cross, right? And this is her now going to be with her sister because her sister's quote unquote sick, who sounds like she's always sick. The sister is just very dramatic. It's
more narration, like from the trailer, kind of about, well, Mary is preferable to Elizabeth because she's a narcissist. So you can spend an entire day talking to her and she won't even notice that you're there because she's just talking to herself. First, she complains about her ailments. Then she'll complain about her husband. Then she'll complain about her in-laws. Let's see what happens.
And then that all just plays out. Yeah. Okay, cool. Did that. So then we meet the Musgroves, right? Who's
Mary's husband's sisters.
Sisters. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Jesus, too many people, too many clothes. So yeah.
Yeah. Louisa and the other one.
Yeah.
Louisa's the only one that matters.
Yeah. Louisa's the only one that matters in terms of the story here. Yeah, and then the sister gives her like a bunch of advice, like, "Hey, when you're into Wentworth here, go get him, whatever."
Yep.
And stuff from the trailer, devastating and handsome. But then she gives her tips of like, "Oh, this is how you act as a woman around men to get their attention." It's all like really bad advice. It's like, "Oh, pretend you don't know how to use a fork and stuff like this," and like,
it's stupid.
Yeah, and she's like pushy. She's like, "Oh, why aren't you married?" And she's like, "All right, kid, let it settle down. All right."
I insist you pursue him. She says a bunch, which is annoying.
And there's like a lot of convenient injuries in this movie too. I don't know if this happens in the book, but a lot of convenient injuries that now make her stuck or force her into spots to like have to like move things along.
Yep. Because one of Mary's kids gets injured.
And for some reason, she's got to stick around because Mary's like, no, I want to go out and have fun and like you watch my kid, basically.
Well, no, it's because Mary's an empath. You don't understand. So it's easier if she's if she stays with the boy, she'll only feel those feelings so much. Right. She'll be incapacitated by grief and pain.
But I love how like they're gonna have this dinner and Wentworth is there, and then next scene and Mary's with the kid. The kid's just sleeping, and she looks. They're just right next door. They're like just.
It's across the hallway. Yeah.
Yeah. Put the kid to bed and come to dinner. Like
yeah, and that's when she spills we still don't really know what she spills on her face when she's reaching for the wine. I think it's gravy.
Gravy. It looks like a gravy bowl, but
yeah.
It's a lot of gravy for one person to have up there.
Yeah. Inexplicable amount of gravy.
The fact that we're talking about an inexplicable amount of gravy in a movie, like that's the most important thing. Like,
yes.
Just goes to show you how boring this is.
Well, it's either that or we could talk about how soggy the jam is.
Yeah, well, we're going to get there. So
the next scene.
I kind of wish, like, maybe ameliorating, but I kind of wish it was like the way they keep showing us like the title cards, like the next location. I kind of wanted to feel like a Law and Order, where it's just like upper cross, bum bum,
bum bum.
My soggy
what crimes were here.
Yeah, I don't want a soggy jam. Mm-hmm. So yeah, then more is the stuff from the trailer. Her doing soggy jam mustaches and making fun of Wentworth, and Wentworth shows up. It's the classic, like, oh, he's right behind you. Oh, and then she's flustered and they have an awkward conversation about hair. And
yep. And listeners, correct me if I'm wrong here, but jam's a little wet. So, like, what does soggy jam mean?
Yeah, that's a great question. Email us. What is soggy jam? Right?
Yeah. How do you get soggy jam?
Yeah. How does one
That's probably a British thing.
Yeah.
We have British listeners. What do you tell us?
It's definitely a British thing because it's jam. It's not jelly.
Yeah, we're jelly people over here.
Yeah. Can you please pass the jelly? I would never. Are you too young for that commercial?
No. Yes.
Yes.
What jelly are we talking about here?
There's
I'm assuming.
No. So it's a jam commercial for jam. I can't remember the name of the jam, but there's this whole like stuffy British dinner or whatever meal they're having. And all these British people are passing the jam. Please, can you please pass the jam? Please, and they're all stuffy. And then the American at the end of the table just like leans over and he's like, can you please pass the jelly? And all the people just like pass out and like, oh. And the tag is
that
like,
came out the year I was born.
Yeah, it's not jelly, it's jam or something like that. So
Yep. Polliner. All fruit jam or jelly. Okay. Good to know.
It's a pretty good one. It's a pretty good one.
Yeah, 1989. That was
I was 8. Yeah, I was a
perfect time to remember commercials.
That's right.
Like, ask me about like a Super Soaker commercial because I got plenty of those.
Do you remember the commercial I was watching? See, this is where this movie's so bad. We're talking about other things.
Yep.
I forget what was the name of the toy? I saw like a thing on it somewhere. I was like, oh my God, I remember that, where they put, Battle Cats. Do you remember those things?
Oh yeah.
Or is that still too old? Too old.
I think that's a little bit too. Yeah.
The Battle Cats where they actually had these things you put on your cat and it was like it fired missiles and stuff like this. Was it real? I don't even remember if it was real. Like it might have been like an SNL skit.
I think it's fake.
I think it is too, because there's no way you. But it was like it like summed up like the 80s like toys. Yeah.
Yep. No, yeah. There's definitely a vintage 1980s Battle Cat. It's like saddles.
Yeah.
That I can see here for sale on eBay. So yeah, I think it's like a He-Man crossover thing.
Yes.
You get the Battle Cat, right?
Yeah.
So it's
right.
Yeah. Okay. So then again, slightly too old for me.
Slightly too old for you.
Ever so slightly. As a self-proclaimed child of the 90s.
Oh, right. I'm a self-proclaimed child of the 80s, so I mean,
that's
of course,
right. That's right.
All right, so what's happening in this movie? Nothing. We got gravy spillage, we got jam on the face. Now we're up across Great House, and this is fancy dinner stuff. And this is where we get that awkward conversation. This is where we learn the awkwardness of Anne tells the awkward story about how her sister's husband Musgrove there actually asked Anne.
Oh, everyone's so awkward in this one. There's like some guy sitting at the dinner table like, are you in the market for a wife, boy? You're like, who are you?
Shut up.
You're not even a character in this. Like,
go on, get. But then Wentworth is there, and he's sitting next to Louisa, and she's playing the old fork spoon joke with her, and they are whatever, blah blah blah. And then there's dancing, and they're all spinning and laughing, and Anne's playing the piano for Elise.
Yeah, that was it. The only other funny thing about that scene was like when Anna's going on and on about like, well, before he married Mary, like they like the way they wrap up that conversation, I thought was a little funny because it was so uncomfortable. Like they were just like, wait a minute, you preferred the sister? And he's like, quite right. Like, and then they kind of like trail off, and it's like later they're dancing. And you're like, wait, what?
Oh, what a mess. So then we're more fourth wall breaking stuff. We're still at the great house here, and she's I don't know, right? More rabbit stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like what the next important thing is, because it's all
there's running with the kids, and then there's stuff in the trailer where they run into each other in the woods, and he's like, "Oh, I don't want
Marie Antoinette."
Yeah,
which I don't know. That seems like a not so good game to play. I don't know.
And and the sister.
It's recent, and in the setting of the movie, where like Marie Antoinette got beheaded in the 1790s. So
it's
like maybe 20 years ago. Like it's recent.
Yeah.
It's like it'd be like us making like 9/11 joke. Like, oh, you want to play like Crash into the Twin Towers? Ha ha ha! Like, come on, kids.
This movie's like a half step away from just having like hashtag never forget Anne Marie.
Yeah, basically.
Marie Antoinette.
Like it's like playing Marie Antoinette's funny now because it's like, oh, okay, it's been a couple hundred years.
I didn't know her. It wasn't my, didn't show up.
No. I mean, and she like kind of deserved to die anyway. But
but.
But still, it doesn't make sense at the time, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that was the complaints probably had people had. Like, that's another one of those like weird, like, oh, we're making jokes about this thing, but and the way the timing of the setting of the movie is in.
Right. Like, especially because they're like upper class people who are like the ones that probably would have been victims to the French Revolution.
Yes.
So I get maybe it's just a joke about France because it's England.
It's no matter France. Ha ha ha. So then we're in the yard and I guess the only key thing here when she's in the yard talking with Mary is she's speaking all these different languages, which is set up for later on because
just Italian.
I thought she spoke something else. It was just Italian.
Well, just Italian the whole time.
I thought she did French and then Italian. No.
No, just Italian. Yep.
Okay, whatever. So she's just speaking Italian, which is very important because that comes back later.
Yeah, and also boring.
Yeah. I will say there's a lot of moments in this movie where I walked out of the room, but I had it on my headphones. So I was like,
I watched the whole thing.
I was like, nothing's going to happen right here. I can listen to it and it'll be fine. So
I did. That scene is kind of funny because she's speaking Italian at Mary, just like she said she did earlier. And and Mary is not noticing until there's like someone behind her and it's the sisters-in-law. And like that whole exchange is pretty funny because they're like, wait a second, what's behind me? Like, where are you guys going without me? And they're like, we're going to go for a walk in the woods. And you hate walking in the woods. And she says, they're like, wait, they literally say, you hate moving your legs. You made us carry you last time. And she's like, you assume just because I hate something doesn't mean I don't want to do it.
Yeah. And that was a good one. I was like, that's all right. So
that's pretty funny. Yeah. Mary has some good lines.
And then, just another walk. We're walking in the field, right? And
so they all go for a walk now.
Man. And then Louise is talking to Anne, and basically Louise is looking for Anne's thumbs up to go after Wentworth, and she's like, this man could be my future. And then she runs away, and then
Yep. Then she's talking to Wentworth about boats. She's like, oh yeah, I love boats. Tell me more about boats. And he's like, don't mind if I do. Pip pip.
Simile and metaphor jokes. And
more Mary complaining. She's like, I won't go to that house. There's too many poor people there. Not enough servants.
and then Anne goes to take a shit behind a tree, but she actually overhears Louisa and Wentworth talking by the water. And Louisa supports and backs up Anne. Is like, no, she's a strong woman, yada yada, and I love her, and yada yada. And Wentworth's like, kind of not really talking shit, but he's just kind of like, she's a difficult lady, basically.
Yeah. And then he literally apologizes for it, though, and says, please forgive me. I've been too harsh. Thank you for calling me to task. Which you're like, people don't talk like this.
Old British
even
people
stuffy
do.
British people, I guess. I don't know. And then this does come back later, slightly important. Louisa's like, hey, why don't you teach me how to use a sextant?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. All right. Sextant.
We'll get our sextant later.
Let's go. We'll get our sextant on later.
All right. But not with Louisa.
No, we will not. Spoilers. She hurts her ankle and she gets a ride back with the Wentworth's.
The Admiral, the brother-in-law.
Right. That's what I was looking for. There's a lot of brother-in-laws and cousins going on here. I'm losing track.
It's all in-laws and cousins,
So then we're coming up to the halfway point here, but we're heading to Lyme. right?
Yeah, that's right. We're heading to Lime. They're like you got to come to the beach. Like Mary's like, you're always out to ruin my fun. You have to come so that I have someone to talk to once everyone else gets sick of me. And
That's
she's like, God damn it, fine.
So gangs on
To
the
the
beach.
beach.
So now this is where this is annoying. Ugh, I hate this so much. This is like the kind of misdirection setup for later on
Yeah.
because we're the gang on the beach. Wentworth intros her to the captain whatever. I forget his name.
Yep.
I don't know if it matters.
Bennett.
And then, well, no, there's
not Bennett.
his captain.
Right, the other captain. Yeah, yeah.
And there's a reason why they're doing this. So he's like, oh, here's Captain so-and-so. And he's like, hey, can you go talk to Captain Bennick? Because about poetry, he loves poetry. He's a little sad because his wife left him or died. I don't know. Something.
She died.
Yeah, she got the plague. And he's sad. So this is where Anne makes a Agamemnon joke that doesn't quite land.
Yeah, which listeners, safety tip for you. I think it was number. Where are we here? If I remember correctly,
Further. Is it further down?
I think it's further down, like 124.
124. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't make Greek mythology references around rubes.
Yeah, that's it. Because this guy doesn't get it, and he's just like,
No.
huh? And she's like, yeah. I think she breaks the fourth wall. I was like, Agamemnon joke. You're so unread.
Classic rube.
And then this captain asks, he's like, hey, I need you to help me convince Wentworth to join the Navy. He's a good guy. He knows what he's doing, yada, yada. His strategery is fantastic. And she's like, why don't you have Louisa do it? She's more in his ear. And he's like, I'm asking this of you. So, because you're best friends. Then we're having dinner. Captain's going on about how awesome Wentworth could have been. And then this is his conflict as well. Joining the Navy versus staying home and having a family, which he wants. And Anne's like, well, you can't expect the wife to be okay with that. And you're blah, blah, blah. And like, probably not, but okay. And then she connects with Captain Bennick, the other captain, about poetry. And they start chatting away.
Yep. Yeah. It's a whole thing about, they're talking about not Keats, Byron, the other one.
Of course. Byron. Yes. My favorite.
And they're like, oh yeah, like Byron's good for sad people, but not too much because then you fall in the Byron hole.
Yeah. You can't go down that hole. It's a deep one.
That's right.
It's like a rabbit hole.
Sad.
See, the rabbit keeps coming back.
Yeah. R.I.P. Benjamin. Thanks for reminding me.
No problem. You killed him. You gave him away.
That's right. Yeah. And she gives some word of advice here. She's like, you're young. You will rally. You will be happy again, which that resonates with all of us, I think.
But I think you can see the little misdirection they're setting up here is we've got 3 captains now. And then the lack of actually using their full titles later on and just using the word captain it's a misdirection because people aren't very clear and concise. So,
that's right.
Oh my God! So then we're on the cliffs. We're going for a cliff walk, and this is where we meet Mr. Elliot, cousin.
That's right.
Not Daddy Elliot.
Insult.
Yes, the great insult on the cliffs there of Mordor. Yes, stuff.
Which literally he like approaches the group and he's like, hello, and then they're like, hello, and you're like, okay, bye.
Yeah. He's like, am I in your way? He's like, pardon. Like, so I thought there was gonna be like an extra line of dialogue in it. No, this is the exchange that actually happens in the trailer. It happens right here.
Yeah. He's like, can I help you with something? And the other guy's like, probably not. It's like, okay.
Step aside, bro. Let the man go through. Let the man go through.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we're at the beach later, and we got Wentworth chatting with Anne, and this is where they become friends. He's like,
this seems so long.
He's a piece of cardboard.
Yeah.
Dude. Like,
I apologize for this morning with that rude gentleman. I'm not your brother. I don't need to protect you. Blah, blah, blah.
Anne, I love you, Anne. He doesn't say that. If he just said that, this movie would be over and we move on with our lives. But
yeah, I've decided I want you in my life, no matter what form that takes. So let's be friends.
BFFs.
She's like, oh man, and she's like, yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah,
totally. And he's like, oh,
whoopsies.
Yeah.
Then he goes on and gives her a very, very long compliment about how focused she is, how direct she is, and how awesome she is, and yada yada yada.
Because he's like, when I was at sea, I'd ask myself, what would Anne do? And that's how I knew what to do. And she's like, really? And he's like, yeah. Sure. You'd make a great admiral. That was his compliment to her. You'd make a great admiral.
Really? An admiral? When I was at sea, I would think WAD. What? What would Anne do?
What would Anne do? That's right.
And then he's like, oh, watch out for those riptides. I'm sorry. Here I am protecting you again.
Yeah.
Pish posh. Yeah. And then she drops her shawl and goes in the ocean and has a little moment. Yeah.
Yep. Silly.
Okay. Yeah. Wentworth watches from a distance awkwardly, and then, that's it.
Yep.
Halfway. Woof.
Yeah. I think a little over halfway, thankfully.
A little bit. So we're building this up because there's a key moment coming up, and then we can just crank through the end, I think. So,
do we just skip to that key moment?
I think so, because Mr. Elliot shows up again, and they have a back and forth, and then she learns more about who he is, and like, oh, that's your cousin. He's rich and da da da, and he's going to be in Bath, whatever. So she's like, okay, great, that works out because that's where the rest of the family is. That's pretty much all that happens there. And then we're at the next day on the beach, and we're going for another walk because
that's right. This time around, some structures.
Yes,
like inexplicable rock walls there's anywhere.
Yeah, like a levee or something. Yeah, they're on like a levee, right? Levee?
Yeah, levee. Yeah,
levee.
Yeah,
levee. Yeah, levee. Yeah, levee.
I don't think it's a dam. Levees are more like kind of like a dam.
Are they?
Yeah,
I guess so.
Yeah, the song When the Levee Breaks.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, they can still break and let the water come through, crashing through. But
right,
I don't know. Yeah, they're on like the beach, like on this rock wall or something, stone wall.
Yeah.
Either way, that's all that matters. Is it stone and it hurts?
Louise is like, "Catch me, Captain!" And then she like jumps and he lands in her arms, and he's like,
"Well, she goes up like the first step because they're coming down steps, and he's like, okay, don't fool around, child."
yeah. And she's like, "I'm going to do it again," and he's like, "What the hell is wrong with you?"
and the whole scene gets really weird because Anne's like, "What is happening right now?" And he's like, "Get down from it! Don't do this." But she jumps and
"Catch me, Captain!" And hilariously cracks her head open on the rocks, and it's
face plants.
So funny.
Boom! It was a
we need a doctor.
It was a spit out my milk kind of moment. Yeah. And I don't even drink milk.
I was sitting there being like, "Oh man, it would be so funny if she fell right now. There's no way they would do that in this movie." And then they did. And I was so happy.
So the only key thing here is then Anne's like, no one touched her, whatever. We don't know what's going on here. And then she's like, someone go get a doctor. No, we need someone who knows the town. So she sends Captain Bennick there, the sad guy, who is walking around with a cane, yet can now run a mile in like 6 minutes. He takes off running. And then we come back to the home. She's in bed. She's just got a concussion. It's like she's just got a CT. She'll be fine.
Yeah. So. I mean, it seems like slightly more maybe than like she's like, it looks like she's like in a coma for a little bit.
Looks like it. Yeah. She'll be fine. Walk it off.
She'll bounce right back.
She'll bounce right back. She'll be jumping off walls before you know it. Yep. So then again, this is where someone's injured, and there's this whole stupid conversation about who's going to stay with her, and it's the same thing as the kid who broke his arm. It's like, Anne, stay with her, and everyone's like, why would Anne stay here? And it's like, why is this even a conversation? Like, what's happening right now?
Well, thankfully this time it's not Anne that has to stay; it's Mary, because then they're like, Captain Wentworth's like, wait a second. Mary, weren't you just complaining about how you can't go in a house with fewer than 5 servants? Like, this house doesn't have that many servants that we're going to. And she's like, oh, never mind, I'll stay.
Yeah. So then Anne and Wentworth are like forcing a carriage ride home. Anne's heading to Bath. Yep. Wentworth is headed to Louise's parents' house to be like, hey, sister banged up her face. She's not going to be around for a little while.
Your daughter's got a little mangled.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I got a ship that's sailing soon. I got to catch. So
yeah. See ya.
See ya. And then she gives him some advice. Just be direct and calm, and be good to go. And more fourth wall breaking bullshit about life. And then we have like more carriage rides. Lady Russell talking to her about...
how's that poor girl? How are her parents? They're like, bad. Not great.
No.
And they're having a little picnic then. They get out of the carriage and they do a little picnic, which is inconsequential.
Yeah. So in the book, I guess Anne is suspicious and not very trusting of Mr. Elliot and what he's doing.
Okay.
And in this, she kind of gives that off a little bit. But she's mostly saying, I don't trust him because he's attractive. So he's a 10. Never trust a 10.
I think that's another safety tip.
I believe it is. I think it's in there, right?
Yeah. They were like 149.
149. Yeah.
Never trust a 10.
Never trust a 10. So we're in Bath. And then we see Daddy there. We see the older sister. Mr. Elliot shows up. It's awkward. He's flirting with Anne. No, this is really important.
No, they just do a bunch of exposition. Like, I think we skipped most of this.
It's just more talking about sadness and basically Anne kind of pushing back on Mr. Elliot, but not really, a little bit. I don't know.
They're flirting, and
she's like, oh, maybe I'll fall for this. And then there's a octopus dream metaphor. I don't know.
Yep.
And then we cut to town, and this is where Lady Russell and Anne have their final conversation, and she forgives her, and she's like, I'm just looking for forgiveness for like telling you not to go after Wentworth. And then this is where the kickoff towards our climax here, where Lady Russell says, oh, did you not know Louisa and the captain are getting, she doesn't say Wentworth, right? She says Louisa and the captain are getting engaged, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
So that's where you're like, oh, the captain, everyone thinks it's Wentworth, but there's 3 captains, remember?
Yeah. She says under the circumstances of Wentworth's engagement.
Oh.
She does say it's that captain.
Okay, she does. Okay.
Yeah. But like, she's like, oh, you didn't know about that? Oh, okay. Well, we'll let her see you later. And like, but I don't think that it was.
Let her see you later.
Yeah, kind of like that.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. And there's more crying. More fourth wall breaking crying. Tears.
Crying in the bath. Yep.
Yeah, never
not
Bath.
The place, Bath the bathtub.
Bath. Yeah, she's in the bathtub crying in Bath. So.
Yeah.
Never cry in Bath. Yeah. And then
we just rapidly get towards the end, thankfully.
Yeah, it's just like random not set up encounters at all. It's like, oh, we're at a store now, and Wentworth and her run into each other at the store, and Mr. Elliot comes in. He's like, yo, come to this concert. You should come so I can rub this all in your face that I got your girl here, you know?
Yep. Hands off my girl.
That's pretty much it. And then we're at this concert hall, and there's fancy people dressed up, and there's violins, and Anne's crying again, and Wentworth's there. He sees a little hand play from Elliot on her shoulder, and he leaves in a huff, and then she goes after him.
Yep.
There's the Italian thing. Hey, can you translate the Italian? Mr. Elliot interrupts so much.
Constantly.
And then he goes up to him. He's like, hey, dude, I know how much you value she values your friendship. You show up to the wedding. He's like, oh, you guys going to get married? Opera scene. They run. She runs after him.
And like, again, this guy, Cosmo, not a good actor. Like he's just like always looks kind of like sad, but also a little angry and mostly confused.
Yeah, like he's gonna take
just like neutral.
Like he's got like a shit face, like he's gonna take a dump at any moment, right? He's like feeling that stress of like, oh, I think I've got to take a dump now. Stress concerned look.
That's right. So then we go towards the concert hall here, but when we had a little pre-concert meet and greet with everybody, right?
I think I skipped over all this stuff already.
Smart. Oh, you did.
I skipped right over that already. Yeah, and then she chased
the concert. Then
yeah, well, no, and then I skipped that too. I already touched on that, and like he runs out, she runs after him, and then Mr. Elliot comes in, interrupts again, and
oh right, yeah, and he apologizes for interrupting, but not really. He's like, I'm sorry, you made me interrupt you
again.
Yeah, he's just a big jerk.
Wentworth's like, yo, I'll see ya. I'm taking a Navy job. See ya. And then Mr. Elliot's like, hey, do you want to get married? And she's like, oh.
Yeah. And he's like, think on it.
Yeah.
Have a sleep on it.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll say yes.
Yeah. She's petting a rabbit, blows out a candle, and we're at the next day.
Yep. Pretty much. She's like, you know what? Captain Wentworth is right. Maybe Mr. Elliot is unique. And you're like, what does that mean? And then blows out the candle, and you're like, oh, okay. I guess we're ending that scene. Great.
Yeah. Then things get really confusing. I'll be honest. And next day, Mary shows up. She's like, hey, you got to come. We're going to hang out with Mr. Elliot and the cousins or something. Or she's jealous of that. And then
Louisa's like, I gotta spend some time away from my kids.
And this is where the misdirection happens, because she just says, oh, Louisa's planned to marry a sailor. She doesn't say captain. She just says sailor. She doesn't say a name. Yeah, that's what it is. And Anne's like, I'm not going. I got plans. And you don't have plans. I don't know. Okay.
Jesus and she does Christ. Say they do say. Then they're like, well, Wentworth wanted to see you at this event.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Like, why though?
I don't know. So then we're the inn. Was it the Whitetail
Yep.
Inn or something like that?
Something
And
like that.
I don't get why I don't understand why we're here. What's happening? So,
Well, because they're there to give Wentworth a proper send off for his Navy thing.
oh, okay.
Like they're kind of throwing him a going away party now, right? So he's like
God, so boring.
hanging out there. Yeah, it's so stupid. The other captain's like, Wentworth, my boy, you got to sign that letter. Like, friggin' sign it, dude.
Sign it. Let's go.
He's like, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. So like, conveniently, he has a pen and paper in front of him because that's going to come into play in a minute.
Right. So then the other
Captain
captain's
Carvel,
talking.
that's his name. Like the
Captain
ice cream
Carvel.
cake.
Right. I love a good ice cream cake. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So then the other Captain Carvel there, ice cream cake, he's ice cream captain. He is talking to Anne about Captain Bennick there. And he's like, oh, all the stuff you did kind of set things in motion for him.
Yep.
And then it's revealed, meanwhile in the background, Wentworth is still writing this letter, which is the letter, by the way. I think it's like the love letter of all time, like the greatest love letter ever written. Jane Austen nailed it out of the park. Everyone knows it. Everyone loves it. You know,
I hate it.
I hate it, but us. Everyone loves it, but us.
That's right.
And then Anne goes on about the difference between love and men and women and loving longest and this whole thing. It's like blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then we find out Captain Bennick is the one that's marrying Louisa, not Wentworth.
Captain Carvel's like, I'm surprised that you have such strong feelings about Louisa and Bennick getting together. It seems pretty crazy. She's like, wait, what?
Can you throw that back at me again?
And then there's more narration like, the universe has perfect timing. And you're like, wait, what?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't care. It doesn't care about you.
But there's a note on the table from our boy Wentworth. And yeah, this is the letter.
From old Worthy there. And it's the letter. And then she starts reading it. Tears start pouring. It sounds beautiful.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's okay. It's, I mean, whatever. It's just whatever.
It's kind of like, it's like very blamey of like, well, you always say that men forget sooner than women, but I'll have you know that I did not forget. You're like,
Hashtag never forgot.
yeah, that's right. Never forget Marie Antoinette.
And 9/11.
Yeah. And she's like, I know you're going to go marry that Mr. Elliot, but, you know, I have to tell you how I feel anyway.
Yeah.
And I love no one else but you, and I probably never will. Smell you later.
And then
Signed, Captain Wentworth.
Then she does the classic run to the airport to catch him before he takes off on the boat. It's the same thing, right?
But instead, it's like a little cobblestone street, and she doesn't have to go that far. He's a very slow walker.
He's a very slow walker. And she runs into Mr. Elliot making out with Mrs. Clay, the woman that was trying to get with Daddy Elliot.
Right.
Which is like,
what?
Yeah, like kind of somewhat not really explained, and it's very confusing. And it's like, oh, but if you had this other character they cut from the book, all that would have probably made a little more sense.
Yeah. And then she just says, well, I wish you guys happiness. See ya.
See ya. Yeah.
I got stuff to do.
She keeps running, keeps voicing over the letter, and then he starts voicing over the letter, what he wrote, and then my love has never faltered. And she kisses him. They catch each other. They kiss, and we get some updated bad rom-com pop song.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah. So then we cut to the future. Yep, sometime later.
It's wedding day.
Yep,
it's like training day.
And it's Mr. Elliot and Lady, what's her name? Clay?
Mrs. Clay, yeah.
Yep, getting married.
Yeah.
But you're like, oh, whoa.
And for some reason, everyone's there, but
yep.
Like this guy's kind of a scumbag and like.
Yeah. He's not doing the right things, but everyone loves him still, so they're all there, and it's whatever. And Anne is narrating again because
he's
of course she's always narrating.
Yeah,
she's
narrating.
You know, sometimes the right partnership can be lucrative, and for others, true connection is enough. And it like pans over to Louisa and the other sister, and
Benwick.
they've got their men.
Their men, yep. And
Lady
Russell's looking at her European tour pamphlet because she mentioned how she's hooking up with dudes in European tours.
Yeah, she's got all these tours that she goes on. Yeah,
European tours.
That's right.
Lady Russell.
And she says, it's okay to find love on your terms. And everyone's looking around like, wait a second, where's Anne?
Shouldn't she be here? Yeah.
Yep. And that's when you get from the trailer. Don't let anyone tell you how to live or who to love. I learned that the hard way.
And then we're back to the beginning.
Yep.
Which is the end.
Yep. And he's teaching her how to use a sextant.
There it is. Let's go.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
And she's like, this isn't really that hard.
Yeah. And she's like, perhaps we can go to Venice before Constantinople. And he's like, do you know how hard it is to turn a ship around? And she's like, do I ever?
And then this cheesy contemporary love song comes on, and the camera starts slowly pulling out to the cliffs and to the ocean. Roll credits.
Yep. More kissing. Yep.
Oh, God.
What a terrible movie. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Yeah.
Can we fix it?
You can. I think we can. I think you go one of two ways. You either, as we always say, stick with the source material and just go hardcore. Just do a hardcore persuasion time period piece. Just do the book.
Yep.
Do it. Yep. Or you go full on modern retelling and
give me Kenneth Branagh, Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, give me Clueless of Emma. Give me you just go do that.
Yep.
Which I'm sure someone's already done. We just don't know it, but
I'm sure.
Cut the fourth wall stuff. There's so much exposition. I mean, the novel. I'm sure that's what the novel is, but I think they literally just took the words that were in the book and we just need to tell everyone what's happening. We need to have them tell everyone's feelings.
Yeah, it doesn't really work.
Yeah,
it's annoying.
Dive into, be a little bit smarter and dive into Jane Austen's satire of the time and her class commentary, which came off as pretty harsh, I think, from what I gather.
And this comes off as pretty light and almost aspirational. Shouldn't we all be rich people?
Yeah.
No?
No.
Yeah, there are dirtbags in this movie mostly.
Yeah, mostly in real life too. So,
Yeah. Yep, too true.
Make it more accurate to the source material. I think that's all you can do. I mean,
yep.
Right?
Yep. Yeah.
Cast an actual British lead. They're out there.
Make a British lead. Yep.
Yeah, they're out there. One. Yeah.
Play up the accident scene. That was wicked funny.
That was wicked funny. Yeah,
give me a little gore. I want to see a little blood.
Blood.
Do some blood on the rocks.
Yeah, a little more screaming. That's really uncomfortable.
Yeah. Make her in a coma. Show it to us.
Yeah.
Make it kind of like a Saw movie.
Yeah. Want to play a game?
Yeah, that sounds better.
You have to jump from the top step.
Say, catch me, Captain.
Yeah. Catch me, Captain, or learn your lesson. Not to love something so much or you'll kill it.
Like the rabbit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Lean also give us a little more it was just more telling. It was all telling of the relationships between her sisters and her father and everything. You can make that something, I don't know, don't show us that. Don't tell us that.
Yeah. Give us a little more daddy, because he was barely in the movie and he was kind of funny when he was in it.
Yeah, Richard Grant's great. I think he's great. He's great as an actor, and I think he can do some funny stuff. So,
yep.
Have a little more of that, but I think the tone was too. It was trying to be too comedic, rom-commy. When I think that was the other thing too. The original is very melancholy, and
yeah,
the infinite sadness. Give us that, Jared's hoodie.
More sadness, please.
Yeah, where is that? Where's that little?
My melancholy hoodie?
Yeah,
in the closet. I don't wear it that much these days, but
you should. It's very melancholy times.
Yeah, and by that you mean it's very bright.
Yeah,
it screams melancholy, but it also screams, "Look at me!
Look at me! I want to be seen."
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got. I don't know.
I think that's all I got too. Just make it better.
Yeah,
do a test screening and be like, "Are people bored?"
Yeah,
change it.
All right. Well, I think that's it. I think we're done here. I think we've done our part. We've done our part to, I don't know. So let's close the book on this one.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Good book reference.
Thanks for speaking of books. Thanks for listening. Back next week with a new movie in Trailer Trash. In the meantime, follow us on Instagram at It's This Meets That. Subscribe to where you listen to podcasts and set us auto download. And if you like this thing that we're doing here, tell a friend.
Yep. Or tell a stranger.
In a love letter.
Review.
Tell them in a love letter. Yeah, really long.
Leave a little love letter. Apple Podcasts designed for love letters.
Very long. Make it very long.
Yep. If it's too long though, if they like cut you off and say no can do'sville, baby doll.
Yeah, 100 characters only.
Yep. Send us an email. Do that instead. We'll read it in Trailer Trash. It's thismeetsad@gmail.com. Or just go to the website because you can find all this information that we just said, where to find us, what our email is, information about us, kind of some characters from ITMT, but kind of.
Oh, yeah. Somewhat.
Merch links. We talked about that earlier. Buy a shirt, please. That would be great. There's no information about Russ's book Host, but you should buy that wherever you buy books. Look out for the sequel later this year.
Coming.
And I forgot to say the website when I was talking about it earlier, but it's thismeetsthat.com. Check it out.